Just to get it out of the way, no, this movie is not as bad as the short teaser trailers from Twitter made it out to be. It pretty much felt like self sabotage releasing those because, oh boy, did they look bad. They could have chosen way better scenes, but they chose some of the scenes that were pretty lackluster. But no, this movie is not as bad as you may think it is. It was actually pretty decent. Mandalorian and Grogu, the newest Star Wars movie. Just finished watching it, so 5 minutes of non spoilers first, and then 5 minutes of spoilers. The story, there is almost no story. This feels like a adventure with no destination. It's kind of just like events happen and then another event happens, then a chain event happens after that, and that's it. Movie's over. There is no goal, there is no like ultimate destination. It just feels like, well, you gotta do this, Mando, and then this thing happens, and then this thing happens. But in the end of the day, it just feels like a bunch of sequences stacked together to make a plot. But in actuality, there really is no plot, and it does kind of feel like Mando season 1, just like good old Rick and Morty adventures. There doesn't have to be a end of the world plot. There doesn't have to be Jedi or Sith or Mandalorians or end of the galaxy level threat. No, it just feels like a old adventure film, family flick that anybody can enjoy. You don't need to watch the original seasons other than just to know who these characters are. It just feels like a normal adventure. It feels like a something that would happen every week in the Mando Star Wars universe. There is no big goal. It just happens. So if you're into like a story adventure with no like big payoff, just a normal adventure, I think this is a good movie for that. But don't expect to be crying and shitting your pants in the movies, because this is definitely not the movie for that. Characters, I think Mando was done pretty good here compared to season 3 where he was ass. He kind of just felt like a damsel in distress most of the time. Here, it definitely feels like he's brought back to his season 1 route. He's more ferocious. He shows his fighting style. He's definitely like no hold bars anymore. He's ruthless. Like, he gets work done actually. In some parts of the movie, he still gets wrecked, of course, but they need that for the plot to actually advance. But he does feel like a threat to be reckoned with, unlike in the prior seasons where they just turn him into a jokey damsel in distress where he needs help from others. Here he's very competent. He actually did a lot of things, and he actually felt like a main character in his own show, well, movie now. So I did like that about him. Grogu also had his own time to shine as well. He even gets his own sequence without Mando. I think it was a very good sequence. Nothing crazy again, but it does show that these characters have grown through these past seasons. Nothing too deep again, but it does show their character development. I did like that. It felt like Mando was back to season 1 Mando, but with a little bit of that jokiness. And Grogu learned from the past seasons. He's not like a defenseless baby anymore that needs help from everybody. He can actually do his own things now. The side characters are also decent. I did like a couple of them. I think the main antagonists are pretty weak though. There was one main antagonist I'll talk about in the spoiler section. I think he was pretty good. I think he took most of the budget, the CGI budget, which I'll talk about. But they don't do a lot with him. He doesn't have a lot of screen time, and you can tell that they wasted most of the budget on him and another dragon lizard thing. Like, those had the most screen time. But there's also their CGI buddy, Rodder the Hutt, that's in this movie, and he looks very choppy in some scenes, but in other scenes he looks fine. I think he was an okay character. He kind of just was there to advance the plot, but I did like his character for what he was. The art, and by art I mean CGI. I'm not gonna lie, the CGI in this movie looks pretty chopped sometimes. It definitely looks like a PS2 game. If you know Zeb, the guy from Rebels, he's in this movie. He's like this furry kind of guy, purple fur, whatever. He looks like a PS2 game. Graphics, walking around every time you see him. It looks pretty choppy at times. Most of the CGI kind of looks choppy at times. I don't know if it was just my movie feeder, looking kind of darkish. Maybe I was seeing different things, but the CGI in some parts definitely looked choppy. I say like 70% of the CGI is pretty choppy, while 30% of it is passable. But again, there is one character I need to talk about that kind of just took all the CGI budget. In total, I would probably give this movie a 7 out of 10. I wouldn't blame you if you gave it a 6 out of 10. It is a movie with not a lot of stakes. It's just a good old adventure. You don't have to think too hard about it. It goes from point A to point B, and that's it. There's no deep plot, there's no deep message. It's just a guy trying to find his way through the galaxy, and I think that's what it captures from the original Mando season 1. Like I said before, no big stakes or anything. It just doesn't have to be that, and I think that's fine enough for a movie like this. Is it going to revive Star Wars? Hell no, it is not that kind of movie. It's just a normal adventure. Again, it's a stepping stone maybe Star Wars can pick up from, but it's not sequel trilogy levels of bad. It ain't no Revenge of the Sith, that's for sure. Original trilogy either, nah. It's just an okay movie. If you miss it, you won't miss much, but it's just a very alright movie. It is not as bad as people said it was, or doom scrolling, or the leaks, and all that, because oh boy were people crapping on this movie. Alright, spoilers time, spoiler time. I did like the action sequences. There was a lot of action sequences. Some of it felt choppy, it felt too slow, it felt like a turn-based game where some characters would kind of just felt like they were taking turns. A bit choppy, but in some of them they were pretty good, but they felt very short. Like the final fight with Mando versus Enbu. Enbu is the guy from Clone Wars, if you've seen it. He's a pretty competent bounty hunter himself. It's not like he's C tier level. I give him like B tier level. He's fought against Force users and survived, so I guess you can give him kudos for that. But him and Mando fight. He beats Mando in the first fight, and he does this really cool aura farming shot. I can't lie, it actually looks pretty good. I think that took most of the CGI budget. Every time you see him, he looks slightly different from the other CGI creatures or persons, because I feel like they just wasted most of the budget on him, and that's why he's not in the movie for a long period of time. He's just there to aura farm, and that's it. And then during their final fight, their run back, it feels pretty short. Mando defeats him pretty fast. I think that's just when they completely ran out, but they were like, alright, no more Embu, get him out of the screen. We're wasting all of our Disney money right here. Hiccup, apologies. But I did really enjoy his shots. He has some of the best shots in the movie. Really cool character. I'm not going to glaze him too much because, you know, it's Embu, man. I know there's Embu fans, but it's not like he's... If you never watched Clone Wars, you won't have any idea who he is. So he was there. He was a cool looking character, but he didn't have a lot of screen time, and just felt like they ran out of budget. Another gripe I had with this movie, there's a lot of scenes where Mando is like in a death situation against a bunch of enemies. He has a blaster on his hip, and he just never ever uses it. Like against these water creatures, he's like stuck in a pit. So he like takes one of their spears and then stabs them with it, and he's like fighting them all, and then a huge dragon comes out and he barely escapes her with his life. He has a gun the whole time, and he just never uses it throughout the whole movie. He always is strapped, and then in one of the scenes he starts using the gun and then he just stops using the gun. It's really weird. He has a weapon, but they put him in like these dangerous situations where he has to adapt and learn and all that. He could have just pulled out the blinky and shot them. I'm not sure if it would have taken full effect on some enemies, but you know, it was there. I really like the final battle scene where he's like fully strapped and all that, but it did feel pretty weak. It just felt like it kind of happened, I guess, the final battle. The Embu fight was good, but like I said, it was just way too short. The action sequence is alright. I did like Ruda's action sequence, the big HUD. He was an okay character again. He like tries to fight Mando, but again, the hard part with talking about the plot for this movie is that there really is no plot. Mando is hired by the New Republic to find Ruda the HUD for for the twin huts that were in, I think they were in Book of Boba, but they actually want to kill him because he's Boba's son. They can like he's like the heir or something. And then that's it. That's the whole story. Find root of the hunt. They bring him, and then the Huts are all like, "Well, you double crossed this Mando." Mando kills them by they die by like the giant dragon eel. So that was it. That's the whole story. It's nothing deep. There are some good moments like with Grogu using everything he learned through his adventures while Mando is in like a poisoned coma by the dragon thing. I thought that was a pretty good sequence. I like the dude that was pretty chill with Grogu. He was like a hermit in the swamp. He felt like a plot device, but like he was pretty chill. I liked him. But what else is there? I think that's almost about it. This is just a adventure flick. There's nothing deep about it. It's just there, I guess. But yeah, I think that's about it. It is a solid movie, but if you skipped it, you wouldn't be missing out on anything Star Wars related. This might be the last time we see Mando. Again, I do like how they went back to their roots. I did not like season 3, and season 2 was good until they ruined the ending. So it definitely feels like they went back to their roots. I did enjoy that. Again, a solid 7 out of 10. If you want to watch it, go for it, but I won't say you're missing out on much if you don't watch it. It's just an okay movie, and that's about it. But yeah, take care.